Obviously, it's extremely upsetting that this happened. The speaker has acknowledged his mistake and has apologized. But this is something that is deeply embarrassing to the Parliament of Canada and, by extension, to all Canadians. I think particularly of Jewish MPs and all members of the Jewish community across the country who are commemorating Yom Kippur today. I think it's going to be really important that all of us push back against Russian propaganda, Russian disinformation, and continue our steadfast and unequivocal support for Ukraine, as we did last week with announcing further measures to stand with Ukraine in Russia's illegal war against it.
Mr. Speaker, the question was for the Prime Minister, because indeed it is the Prime Minister's sole responsibility to guarantee the diplomatic success of major world leaders who come to this country. It is the Prime Minister whose government is responsible for both security and diplomatic vetting of everyone that comes in close proximity of a foreign leader on Canadian soil.
Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau has expressed his embarrassment over applause within the Canadian Parliament for a soldier of Ukrainian origin who had fought with the Nazi unit through the course of the Second World War. The Speaker of the House of Commons, Rota, had on Friday pointed to Yaroslav Hunka, who is now 98, and Hunka was sitting in the gallery, and this is at a time when Canada was hosting President Zelensky. The House was hosting President Zelensky. Rota said that Hunka had fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russians. He called him a Ukrainian hero, a Canadian hero, and he said, "We thank him for his service." And that drew standing applause within the House. Zelensky, who was present in the House, raised his fist towards Hunka, who then saluted back, and that drew standing applause yet again. What Rota did not say was that Hunka had fought as a member of the SS, and that is a unit responsible for persecution and murder of a very large number of Jews. More than 6 million are believed to have been killed by the Nazis through the Second World War. On Monday, again now, Rota stood in the House to offer apologies for what had happened, and he spoke in a broken voice. He said he alone was responsible for that invitation. Trudeau has sought to distance himself from all this in expressing his embarrassment, and he said that, and he did not fail to point out that it was the Speaker's blunder and really not his. But opposition members have demanded to know how the Prime Minister's office could have known of Hunka's background and how Hunka was vetted before he was given that invitation to attend Parliament on an occasion such as this. This episode has now found a strong echo in the current war in Ukraine. It has been the Russian claim that it is fighting this war partly to denazify Ukraine, and Russia says the Ukrainian military includes Nazi-like units, and Russia has long, of course, projected itself as a champion that fought the Nazis and defeated them during the Second World War. The Russians have now rounded on Canada for honoring a member of the greatest evil that the 20th century has seen, that Russia liberated the world from. Trudeau has acknowledged that the Russians will use this now as a propaganda tool in the current Ukraine war, which the Russians have inevitably done. So this now opens up a new front in that propaganda war in Ukraine and around Ukraine. One way or the other, Canada, the long forgotten periphery of the world, is now in the thick of world news, and all that's taken has been an allegation here and an invitation there.